Anthony Elmore. I come from a humble abode here in Orange Mound in Memphis, Tennessee, to bring you another exciting lecture. Friends and family gathered in Memphis, Tennessee to celebrate and honor and give a tribute to the late Isaac Hayes. I decided that I would make a movie about the event. I decided that I would take an educational approach and create a video to help educate people about Memphis, about Black life in Memphis, and at the same time to still tell the story of our friend Isaac Hayes. So I want you to go along with me, and we're going to tell you the history and learn about the history and the culture of Memphis, in Memphis, Tennessee, and start our story. I created a website called Black Memphis History. Years ago, I wrote a story called Isaac Hayes, Death, a Buddhist Reflection on Life and Living, a Buddhist Way of Life. I'm so happy that I documented the story because this story gives me an opportunity to create a video about Isaac Hayes, Memphis, its culture, and the history. You see, on October of 2001, Isaac Hayes opened a club at the Peabody Place in downtown Memphis. Now, let's move to June 8th, 2002. Mike Tyson fought Lennox Lewis in Memphis. That was 22 years ago. Now, let me explain how my story connects to Isaac Hayes and Black Memphis history. I had this vision of selling African style to America. You see this coat, you see me wearing at the Lennox Lewis manager purchased the coat off my back. You see, me, a world kickboxing champion about the size of Lennox Lewis, I grabbed one of my African mudcloth suits and I showed the suit to Lennox Lewis and told Lennox Lewis he must have a beautiful African mudcloth coat. And I would send him a bill later. Lennox Lewis left Memphis after winning and beating Mike Tyson with the coat. Now, let me tell you what happened after the Mike Tyson fight. They had this exclusive after party celebration at the Isaac Hayes Club in downtown Memphis at the Peabody Place. And the club is now closed, but at this club, at the after fight of the Lennox Lewis Mike Tyson fight, there was the superstar of Blade, Wesley Snipes, who was cool as ever in his white suit and his security. So I walked up to Wesley Snipes, and I knew that Wesley had an interest in love African clothes and culture, and he saw the beautiful African clothes that I had on, and I told him I would like to make some African things for him. And Wesley Snipes gave me the number of his number, and we communicated, and I made some beautiful garments for Wesley Snipes. And Wesley sent me a thank you note, how beautiful clothes was. Now, I never billed him or I billed Lennox Lewis. I like to catch these guys someday and get paid for the clothes I sent. But anyway, let's go back to August of 2002. Now, Isaac Hayes had the club open a year, and what happened was, in August of 2002, see, Isaac Hayes, born in 1942, celebrated his 60th birthday party, and he had friends and relatives and everybody at the party. Now, I want to show you a picture of me at Isaac's 60th birthday celebration held at the Isaac Hayes Club. Now, there was, what's his name, Millie Jackson, who performed at the club. There was Larry Gary, the famous attorney from Florida, and they had this beautiful program. Now, I was aware that Isaac was an African king, and I had my African import store. So what I did was, I told them, what can you give a man like Isaac Hayes? I had my carvers in Ghana. Isaac, a carving of Ghana, since Isaac was a king already. He was well known in Ghana. Now, what they did was they arranged for me to get on the program, and I presented this carving to Isaac. Now, what's so unique about this is that on the picture, who you see me and Isaac Hayes, and you also see me with the legendary singer who was Ollie Woodson. So Ollie Woodson and Isaac Hayes, and I present this beautiful statue to Isaac Hayes at the event. You see, it was on. Now this was at Isaac's birthday party in 2002. Now on Sunday, August 10th, 2008, I was on my cell phone, and I got a phone call, and I was actually working at Lamont College, when a friend, Barry, told me that Isaac had passed away. I said to myself, what a strange omen, because I was just a few yards away from where Isaac recorded his famous recordings at Stax. I was at Lamont College. I was working at Lamont College installing carpet. Now, let me take you back to August 10th, 2008. At the time of Isaac's death, Memphis congressman had just won re-election. However, all over Memphis, there were billboards called Hometown Heroes. Now, I had the pleasure in support of Memphis Congressman Steve Cohen to be a hometown hero. You see, what you see on the picture here is that you see me, Isaac Hayes, and the executive secretary of the NAACP, the late Maxine Smith. All of us was supporting Congressman Steve Cohen for re-election. This is in 2008. Now, when Isaac passed, I took a picture that you see on the stack sign that says, "In loving memory of Isaac Hayes." Now, I took a picture at College in Macklemore across from the Stax Museum now. Now, I also, right across the street, you see a vacant building. Now, right behind that vacant building, I used to go get my hair cut of Jim's Barbershop. Now, let me take you to December 25th, 2005. You see, Isaac and I took this picture at the Kwanzaa celebration sponsored by our state representative, Henry Brooks. I recall having a brief conversation with Isaac about the difficulty of us black men finding a mate. Isaac and I both understood that we both had to travel to Africa to find a mate. Isaac told me that he tried for years to get the woman whom he married to agree to marry him. On this date, Isaac introduced me and his wife, Ajawa, to everyone at the Kwanzaa celebration, and Isaac told everyone that she was with baby. Now, I told Ajawa, who was Isaac's wife, who was pregnant at the time, about my experience in Ghana, and she was from Ghana, and I was putting together an all-African home, the first all-African home in America. Now, 7 months later, in the summer of 2006, Isaac's wife, Ajawa, visited our home with her newly born son, Kajawa Hayes. Ajawa and my wife, Bogadich, who's from Ethiopia, they never passed many words, but we were all spiritually understood our relationship and our deep African connection. And Ajawa said that she wanted Isaac to visit our home, and I shared a deep karmic connection with Africa. You see, this makes Kajawa Hayes an adult 18 years old today. You see, on December 25th, 2005, my son, Anthony Elmore Jr., who you see in the picture, was 7 years old, taking a picture at Kwanzaa with Isaac Hayes. You see, Isaac stayed connected to the community, and he would come to events like Kwanzaa and support black things and support the black community. In fact, let me tell you a story. You know, Isaac's writing partner, David Porter. You know, I called David Porter and told David Porter that my son was doing a school project. He was in the first or second grade, whatever, and I wanted him to take a picture with David Porter. David Porter, you know, was talking on cell phone, did a beeline, and he came to my house and he took a picture for my son for a school project. This just to tell you the character of the people at Stacks and how they remained so connected to the community and why they were so loved, because they were just regular people and connected. See, in the year 2004 or 2005, I invited Isaac to come to my store and take a look at the many African designs I had created. Isaac was also preparing to do a cooking show in that he was a master chef. I invited him to check out our African style greens, which were the best greens in the world if you like greens. Isaac told me that he could not eat, and I recall him saying that he was on a 30-day fast and he was looking like he was all skin and bones. To be clear about the matter, Isaac told me that he was going through detoxification and he was cleansing the impurities out of his body. Isaac Hayes and the late Lisa Marie Presley opened the Church of Scientology in Memphis, and Isaac was a devout follower of Scientology teachings. It was just last year, in January 12th of 2023, that Lisa Marie Presley died at 54 years old. Now, let's look at the history of Isaac Hayes' funeral that took place at the Hope Presbyterian Church on Walnut Grove Road.
It's extremely important. I'm here representing my husband and I, John Travolta. We loved Isaac dearly.
You think about a lot of funny moments and stuff like that. I think about when we were doing Shaft, and, you know, that whole process and all of that. It was just, it was just a really memorable week, really.
You know, they're recording artists and they're songwriters and they're producers. There's actors, there's voiceover guys, there's movie stars. He was all of them.
Made friends pretty easily because we had similar musical tastes, which were...
Isaac Hayes was what we call the original rapper.
Gentleness about the man that was so ingratiating. I'm going to miss that.
In terms of films, you didn't cast Isaac Hayes to be somebody that he wasn't. You know, you cast Isaac Hayes to be Isaac Hayes.
I was about 18 the first time I met him. He was older than me, world known, but he took time with me. He helped me with my youth group. Music was just splendid, but the sense of service was even greater still, and that is part of the real legacy of Hot Blooded Soul.
He was going to build a school. He actually did what he said he was going to do. He was a voice for the voiceless, a face for the faceless.
Isaac Hayes was one of those rare individuals who gave so much more to the world of music than he could ever have received.
In the past 16 years, I've had the pleasure of working side by side with Isaac as he fought tirelessly for human rights across the globe.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Isaac and I were magic together. We wrote songs and we wrote by a formula. Many people don't know that. We wrote by a formula. The formula was, in fact, called to us control emotion. That is, whatever idea you're working on, put your mindset in that sphere, stay true to that, and let the fire of your emotions amplify the power of the idea.
Now, when I entered the church, I noticed the media entry was well secured, and I walked up and asked who I was, because I really didn't have the credentials. And so I told them to ask Congressman Steve Cohen, because I didn't have credentials to go to the VIP section. But anyway, as I walked up, the media group saw me in my African mud cloth, and this caused a stir because the photographers, began to shoot pictures, because surprisingly, members of the media understand and grabbed me for interviews because I was in an African mud cloth, and they knew Isaac's relationship as a king in Africa. And what I was able to do was tell them that I came to the funeral to represent an African king. When we entered the church, they had a VIP reception area, and it was as if my entire life was in the room close to me than my actual blood relatives. We all, during the time of Shaft, loved actor Richard Roundtree, who was at the memorial celebration, among others who had we had come to know for years. The day before, they had a private ceremony, and it was reported that Denzel Washington came. Now, we were walking to the hall, and I caught up with the noted Reverend Al Sharpton. I introduced myself to Al, and I told him I was the only man who loved James Brown more than him. Al told me that he would have to give me a run for my money for that one. The other man who was with Reverend Al Sharpton was Wayne Bobbitt, and he told me that he would be the one who would win that race. Wayne Bobbitt was the longtime friend and manager of James Brown. Before the event started, I walked up to the renowned bass player Bootsy Collins, who was a great artist in his own right, but it was Bootsy who played the bass guitar on the James Brown song Say It Loud, I'm Black and Proud. Bootsy and I once had the same agent, and we talked about the agent whose name was Bill Waller. More important, Bootsy was connected to my hero, James Brown. On the picture with me is Al Bell, who was the president of Stax Records, who explained at the event that how he came up with the name of Isaac's album, Hot Buttered Soul. On this picture is the renowned Maurice White, who started the famed group Earth, Wind and Fire. Maurice and David Porter went to Washington High School together, and Maurice had passed on February 4th, 2016. This is a picture of me and Booker T. Jones, who is the famed Stax group organ player and keyboard player Booker T. Jones of Booker T and the MGs. Now, there was the rap artist Chucky D in the black hat, who we took a photograph together. Now, this is a picture of me with Little G, the lead singer of the R&B group Silk, who performed at the celebration. You see, the gentleman in the white jacket is James Alexander, who was an original member of the Barcades. The Barcades was the backup group for singer Otis Redding. Otis Redding's private plane went down, and all of the Barcades died except Ben, who survived the plane crash. James survived because he took a commercial flight. The gentleman in the white beard is Marvell Thomas, who is the son of the legendary singer Rufus Thomas. Marvell was the producer and piano player on the Isaac Hayes Hot Buttered Soul album. During one of my kickboxing bouts, Marvell accompanied Grammy Award nominee George Kennedy on the piano. You see, Anthony, and that is me with Veronica Hayes, Isaac Hayes' daughter, who looks like the spitting image of Isaac Hayes. You see, Isaac at the time of this posting in 2008, he had 11 grandchildren, 14 great-grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. See, at the Isaac Hayes funeral, a voice shouted, "I want to go to Africa." It was Memphis Mayor Dr. W. Harrington, and he was with Tennessee United States Senator Lamar Alexander in 1990, my 1988 Memphis-produced movie, The Contemporary Gladiator, played in Kenya, whereas I received a hero's welcome in Kenya in 1992 when Dr. Harrington got elected. I met the late Kenyan President Daniel Arap Moore. I wanted to arrange a trade, education, and family relationship between Memphis and Kenya. While Mayor Harrington wanted no relationship between Memphis and Africa, I was heartbroken. Isaac Hayes and I made a way for our children to connect to Africa. I have today the most African house in America. This is a picture I took with former Mayor of Memphis, Mayor Dr. Demetrius Harrington, and United States Senator Lamar Alexander. We could have made an African trade deal. On Monday night, August 18th, 2008, we celebrated the way they do in Africa. The celebration was at the Airport Inn at Brooks and Airways in Memphis. We came together and honored Isaac Hayes in a way that was family and respect worthy. Most important, we're honoring Isaac Hayes for telling our story and how we are all connected. This video gives us a chance to see friends, family, and remember Isaac Hayes. I am Anthony Elmore, giving you a moment in Black Memphis history. Thank you very much.